Hey man, let's talk about something that most people completely miss about themselves. Just how naturally cool you actually are. See, most guys spend their whole lives trying to be cool. Buying the right clothes, saying the right things, following trends, desperately hoping someone will notice. But what if I told you that real coolness, the kind that actually matters, can't be faked, can't be bought, and definitely can't be taught? You either have it or you don't. And here's the crazy part. You might already have it and not even know it. Today, we're breaking down the undeniable signs that prove you've got that rare, effortless coolness that everyone wants but few actually possess. And listen, this isn't about being the loudest guy in the room or having the most followers. This goes way deeper than that. This is about presence, authenticity, the invisible force that makes people gravitate toward you without you even trying. So sit tight, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly whether you're one of those guys who's naturally cool or if you've been trying too hard your whole life. Let's get into it. Ever notice how some guys walk into a room and immediately start talking about their job, their car, their latest achievement? They're peacocking, showing off, trying to establish dominance through status. But then there's another type of guy. He walks in, says nothing, and somehow commands more respect than everyone else combined. That's you. That's natural coolness. Cool guys don't announce their accomplishments. They don't name drop. They don't try to one-up everyone else's stories. Because here's the thing. When you're secure in who you are, you don't need external validation. You know your worth, and that confidence radiates outward. People sense it, and they respect it. I've seen guys with nothing trying to impress everyone and failing miserably. And I've seen guys with everything staying quiet and having the whole room hanging on their every word. It's not about what you have, it's about how you carry yourself. If you find yourself naturally holding back in conversations, not because you're shy, but because you don't feel the need to compete for attention, my guy, you've got something most people spend their entire lives chasing: authentic confidence. And that's rare as hell. Most people are terrified of silence. They fill every gap with nervous laughter, pointless small talk, or random observations. But not you. You can sit in complete silence and be perfectly content. Whether you're alone with your thoughts or sitting with someone else, you don't need constant stimulation, constant noise, constant validation. This is huge because silence makes most people uncomfortable. They project onto it. They think it means something's wrong, that the other person is bored or angry. But when you're comfortable with quiet moments, you're showing emotional maturity. You're saying, I don't need to fill space with words just to make others comfortable. And women? They pick up on this instantly. I remember watching a friend of mine at a coffee shop sitting across from a woman he'd just met. They talked for maybe 5 minutes, then sat in complete silence for another 10. Just drinking their coffee, looking around, occasionally making eye contact and smiling. She was completely captivated. Not because of what he said, but because of what he didn't say. His comfort with silence communicated more than any pickup line ever could. If you can sit in a quiet room and not immediately reach for your phone, if you can have a conversation pause for 10 seconds and not feel awkward, you're operating on a different level than most people. That's natural coolness right there. This one's subtle, but once you notice it, you'll see it everywhere. Ever had someone show up wearing something similar to what you wore last week? Or start using phrases you use? Or suddenly develop interests that match yours? That's not coincidence. That's influence. Cool guys are trendsetters, not trend followers. They don't look around to see what everyone else is doing. They just do what feels right to them, and somehow other people start following without them even trying. It's not about having expensive clothes or the latest gadgets. It's about having your own authentic style that others find magnetic. I know a guy who started wearing these simple black t-shirts and dark jeans. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. But the way he wore them with confidence made them look better than designer clothes. Within a month, 3 guys in his friend group had completely changed their wardrobes to match his vibe. He had no idea he was influencing anyone. He was just being himself. Maybe you've had people ask where you got something, or compliment your style when you weren't even trying. Maybe you've noticed friends adopting your mannerisms or interests. That's social proof that you're setting the standard, not following it. And that's rare. Most people are followers looking for someone to show them the way. While everyone else is getting worked up over small things, losing their minds over petty arguments, or taking everything personally, you stay calm. You don't get pulled into other people's chaos because you understand something most people don't. Drama is a choice. Cool guys don't avoid conflict. They just don't create unnecessary drama. They can handle tension without escalating it. They can disagree without getting emotional. They can be in the middle of chaos and remain centered. And people notice this. They respect it, because in a world full of reactive, emotional people, someone who stays calm is powerful. Think about the last time someone tried to start drama with you. Did you take the bait? Did you get defensive and argue? Or did you just shrug it off and move on? If you naturally de-escalate situations, if people come to you when they need someone level-headed to talk to, you've got that rare emotional intelligence that most people lack. I've seen guys lose their cool over the smallest things. Someone cuts them off in traffic, they're angry for hours. Someone disagrees with them online, they spend the whole day arguing. But then there are guys who brush off major disrespect like it's nothing. Because they know getting upset won't change anything. It'll just drain their energy. If you find yourself naturally staying calm when others are losing it, if you can laugh off insults that would destroy other people's egos, you're operating from a place of inner strength that's incredibly attractive to everyone around you. This is the big one. Cool people don't chase friendships or relationships. People come to them. It's not about being antisocial or playing hard to get. It's about being so comfortable with yourself that others want to be around that energy. Ever notice how some guys have to work really hard to make friends? They're always initiating plans, always reaching out, always trying to keep conversations alive. But then there are guys who barely try and somehow have more genuine connections than anyone else. That's natural magnetism. It happens because when you're not desperate for attention or approval, you give off a completely different vibe. You're not needy. You're not trying too hard. You're just being yourself, and people are drawn to authenticity like moths to a flame. In a world full of fake people, someone real stands out. Maybe you've had strangers start conversations with you for no reason. Maybe people open up to you quickly, sharing personal things they wouldn't tell others. Maybe you've been invited to things without asking, or had people go out of their way to include you. That's not luck. That's your natural cool factor working. Women especially are attracted to guys who don't seem to need them. Not because you're playing games, but because you're genuinely content with your life with or without them. That confidence, that self-sufficiency, is incredibly attractive. And it can't be faked. While everyone else is nodding along trying to fit in, you actually think for yourself. You have real opinions based on your own experiences. And you're not afraid to voice them, even when they're unpopular. This doesn't mean you're argumentative or confrontational. It means you're authentic. You don't change your views based on who you're talking to. You don't say what you think people want to hear. You say what you actually believe. And people respect that, even when they disagree. Cool guys don't follow the crowd. They don't jump on every bandwagon or trend. They think critically about things and form their own conclusions. And here's what's interesting. People are so used to others just agreeing with them that when someone has a different perspective, it's refreshing. Maybe you've been in situations where everyone's praising something and you point out legitimate flaws. Maybe you've defended unpopular positions because you actually believed in them. Maybe you've refused to participate in groupthink, even when it would have been easier to just go along. This takes courage. Most people are so afraid of standing out or being judged that they just conform. But when you're naturally cool, you're comfortable being different. You know that your value doesn't come from other people's approval. It comes from being true to yourself. And here's the thing about all these signs. They can't be forced. You can't fake comfort with silence. You can't pretend not to need validation. You can't manufacture the kind of influence that makes people copy your style. Real coolness comes from inner confidence, from knowing who you are and being okay with it. I see guys all the time trying to act cool, trying to be mysterious, trying to seem unaffected. But it always comes across as forced because they're performing. They're putting on a character instead of just being themselves. And people can sense that inauthenticity from a mile away. The paradox of coolness is that the moment you try to be cool, you're not cool anymore. It's like trying to be funny. The harder you try, the less funny you become. Real coolness is effortless. It's natural. It's just who you are, not who you're trying to be. So if you recognize yourself in these signs, if you naturally do these things without thinking about it, congratulations. You're one of the rare ones. You have something that can't be taught, can't be bought, and can't be faked. You have authentic coolness. But here's what I want you to understand about this gift, because that's what it is. It's not about using it to impress people or get attention. It's about recognizing your value and not settling for less than you deserve. Cool people don't chase, they attract. They don't beg, they command respect. They don't try to fit in, they stand out naturally. And if you're watching this thinking, man, I don't do any of these things, don't worry about it. Trying to force coolness will only make you less cool. Instead, focus on becoming comfortable with who you are. Work on your confidence. Develop your own interests and opinions. Stop caring so much about what other people think. Because here's the truth about coolness. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being comfortable with yourself. It's about not needing external validation to feel worthy. It's about having the courage to be authentic in a world that's constantly trying to make you conform. The coolest people I know don't even think they're cool. They're just being themselves. And that authenticity, that comfort with who they are, is what makes them magnetic. It's what makes people want to be around them. It's what makes them naturally attractive without trying. So pay attention to these signs in yourself and others. Once you start noticing them, you'll see the difference between people who are trying to be cool and people who just are. And that awareness will help you understand your own value, your own power, your own natural magnetism. Remember, coolness isn't about what you wear or what you drive or how much money you make. It's about how you carry yourself, how comfortable you are in your own skin, how authentic you're willing to be. And if you've got that, if you naturally do these things without thinking about it, you're already ahead of 90% of people out there. Stop doubting yourself. Stop thinking you need to be more like someone else. You've got something special, something rare, something that can't be replicated. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you'll start living like the naturally cool person you already are. Look, man, at the end of the day, coolness is about being so comfortable with who you are that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. And if that's you, if you recognize yourself in these signs, then own it. Embrace it. And never let anyone make you feel like you need to be anything other than exactly who you are. Because trust me, that's more than enough.